Welcome back, everybody, to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the Alamo City Music Hall, continuing our work in support of one of the best metal bands across the globe. I have with me the man Corey from TRIVIUM here. Corey, thank you for giving us your time and the opportunity to discuss your brand new music. Welcome back to Rob's MetalWorks. It's been a while.
Oh, thank you for having me again.
It's good to see you, man. You look good. You look healthy and in good spirits.
Yeah, we're just a little tired. Very end of the tour, and it's been a great tour. Having a lot of fun, playing really hard on stage. So, getting near the end, people are just kind of feeling a little worn down, where you just don't feel like you can ever catch up on, getting full energy back. But we, save it all and just go to kind of put it all out there on the stage. So we're a little sleepy at the moment, but once we get on the stage, we'll be ready to go.
Ready for the holidays.
Yeah, nice be home Friday and then have a couple months off. So we'll have plenty of time to recharge, so we're just going to enjoy the last couple shows.
Sweet. We're going to talk about some of your work in the spring that's coming up after the little break. But we have to talk about your new record, man, The Sin and the Sentence. Really such an extraordinary TRIVIUM record, and obviously the band has a long discography, and even though you're still a young man, the band has just accumulated so much music in your catalog because you guys started out so young. Your last record did very well. You had a top 10 single, and in that record, it kind of seemed there were some people who were talking about, Heafy just kind of was singing with a clean voice. There was really not a lot of harsh vocal on that. Obviously, a lot of success with that, but with The Sin and the Sentence, there seems to be a little bit more extreme music. Heafy obviously doing some harsh vocals on there. You guys doing some non-traditional things like long songs. And it was like, we don't care. We're not trying to be popular. We're just going to do our thing.
People come to our band for a particular thing. And I think this record, maybe the last couple records, we definitely, obviously with our discography, if you've heard it all, we definitely like to experiment and broaden our horizons, try new things, not try to repeat ourselves, and kind of see where we can take our sound and kind of see what kind of interesting ways we can, kind of spin it into new sounds. And each record's like a moment in time where you just kind of like certain influences, maybe like certain music you're listening to, or like what's going on in your life, you kind of have a certain interest in playing a certain way or writing a certain kind of song. And the last record, Matt had his issues with his vocals and stuff like that, and other limitations that we had during that writing process. It was kind of like the best way to write the best songs that we can have to be singing, and musically it had to be a little bit more simplistic overall, just because if we tried to do something like on this record before, it wouldn't have been possible. So moving on, we toured. I think the last couple tours we did for Silence in the Snow, just kind of seeing, playing like songs throughout our whole catalog and seeing what elements and what kind of songs really got the crowds fired up and excited. We kind of use that as like a gauge of like, well, it's like they're really into something like that. It's like we can kind of like take the idea or the elements of that kind of song and just kind of like, if it was something from like In Waves, we can do it how we would approach it now, years later, in a different mindset and an experience. So, and also you talked to Alex, like he was a big factor with his drumming skills. A lot of these songs we wouldn't have been able to write them or even like use them previously, because, you need someone like Alex to be able to play drums like that to pull them off. So like once we started writing and we kind of split it up. So we did like 6 songs, and the demo is like once he started playing, we really kind of, once we heard what he could do and his creativity and skill level, obviously it just kind of opened our minds that like there was no limitations on what you could write and do. So we, because we've had like some of these riffs, like, the intro to, Beyond Oblivion, I've had that riff sitting around for years. And then once we started playing with Alex and knowing that he could do all the extreme fast stuff and whatever, it was kind of like, well, now I can write a song with this riff and actually use it, and it will actually make sense, and the song will be done properly and not a riff wasted on something else. So Yeah, it was really fun. It was just kind of like just do everything that we feel like we want to do, and we just felt like this is a kind of the sound like fans really want to hear from our band, like, you know, aggression, but also big melodies and guitar playing and all the musicianship stuff. So we kind of went into it. We're like, yeah, I think this is what's really gonna, you know, strike a nerve with people. And once the first song came out, and now the record's been out, it's been amazing. It's been a long time since we had a record that fans have just been blown away by and want to hear more new songs in the set than old. So it's been going great.
I remember when I saw the video for the title track, I was just in awe. I was like crazy posting about it and like talking about it. Amazing, and I anticipated the record so much more after I heard the first track, because I knew that there was just more coming. It seems like you, Hefe and Paolo, kind of, because of the long history that you have together as musicians, have just come to a point now where, talk a little bit about the writing process. It comes to a point where you guys have just grown and just matured to a point where you know each other so well, not only as people but as musicians, and are able to kind of seamlessly kind of put a record like this together.
Yeah, we all just, you know, write demos at home. You know, Paulo lives a few hours away, so we all start off just writing and demoing stuff on our computers, and we're really good with, you know, programming drums and kind of getting like you know, kind of showing everyone like a full kind of song, like what you're thinking, and we pass them around, and then each other, you know, give each other pointers, or like, oh, this should do this instead of this, or, you know, we kind of produce ourselves by getting feedback from each other, and then we kind of get the demos to a place where we're like, all right, let's start jamming it. And that's where a lot of really cool shit happens, is when we get into a room and you just have that, like, kind of the way a band is supposed to create. You know, the technology is great for convenience and moving things along, but, you know, every band, I think you need to get in a room, because some of the best moments on this record and some of these songs wouldn't, you know, the demos were a lot different than what the record came out to be, and that's because jamming and kind of seeing what feels natural, what feels kind of awkward, that doesn't fit from the demo, or just like someone will just get to a certain point in the song, and, you know, then there's vocals, and then you write around that, and so there's a lot of stuff that's a lot different. Like one of the main, you know, the demo for Sin of the Sentence, like the main verse ended up becoming just like a bridge part. Like it became a totally separate, non-major, you know, focal point of the song, because once things started coming together and everyone started throwing ideas around, we kind of like you take like that and just kind of tear it down and rebuild like a whole new song. So that's where we feel like the best shit that we create is when we're just kind of vibing and, you know, just bouncing ideas off each other. And you can't get that like through email and being able to just play something on the spot and try something. It's, you know, you can't do that through an email or just by yourself with like a computer with a drum machine and stuff. I think the human factor and chemistry has a big factor in what we do.
And even at your level of success, you know, and even at your level of acclaim as individual musicians, I mean, all of you have your fans, still, you know, staying humble enough with each other not to, you know, be intimidated or afraid to say, hey, man, you know, that riff sucks. Let's do something else.
Well, we always wanted to be in a band, not be a solo artist.
Right.
So, you know, luckily, you know, we feel like the sum of the parts is the most important thing, but, you know, it's good to have 4 good working sums put together.
You guys are here in San Antonio again. Welcome to the Alamo City. You know, you're on this co-headlining run with Arch Enemy. How's it been to be playing these songs live now for the fans?
It's been great. We got to play a couple songs in Europe when the Sin of the Sentence and actually we didn't play Heart From Your Hate, but we were playing Sin of the Sentence because it came out right before our Euro tour. And then we were really excited. You know, usually when we came out on tour, we'd only play maybe 2 new songs, but we just had a feeling like the reaction from fans when we were putting out songs prior to release that, like, I think people are going to want to hear these, and we want to play them because they're just so much fun to play. So it's been fun, and then seeing as the longer the record's been out and the more we tour, you could see like the reactions. Like people were really excited when they heard the songs, and they sang them all, so they've been listening to them. So it's a lot of fun. They fit really well with the the old material in the set. So it's nice. It's always fun when you have a new record and you can put some old songs that you've been playing for a while on the shelf and kind of have that.
Well, shit, I think I saw it tonight. Aren't you guys playing like an hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that? It's a pretty long set.
75. That's kind of in between too short and our sweet spot. We usually like headline, we do like 90, but when we're on our own. But
So since you're hanging out with the Arch Enemy guys, you had a chance to trade some licks with Jeff Loomis at all?
we haven't jammed, but we've kind of just had hangout chats and just kind of talked about gear and exchanged contacts with stuff that I want from people he knows. So so it's cool. It's like I've known him for we toured with Arch Enemy years ago, and I knew Jeff. Got introduced to him a couple years ago through mutual friends. So it was cool. It's like we've toured with these guys and known each other. Like most of obviously the new Alyssa that we met on this tour, but the main band guys, we toured with them back in like 2005 on Ozfest, so we've known those guys for like 12 years. So as soon as the tour started, it was just like, hey, it's like back at it.
You guys, are going to end out, and we talked about, doing some work in the spring. What lies ahead for 2018? What do you guys want to do?
Well, we have our European UK tour that's already booked and announced. So we're going to Europe again, and then
Headlining.
Yep. And then the spring, April, May, we just got announced for a couple festivals like Carolina Rebellion, Welcome to Rockville. So we'll be doing that circuit with some other dates in between. Stuff still in the works, and then after that, it's kind of see where it goes. It's still a little ways away. So we're getting the first part of the year scheduled, and then once that's all done, we kind of move on to the next. Probably starting in like January, February, kind of sketching out what the rest of the year is going to look like. But it's going to be a lot of touring, and we definitely want to come back and do like a big package, like just sole Trivium headlining tour at some point. So hopefully that'll be in the cards, either maybe end of next year or beginning of the following year or something like that. So we'll just kind of see how it kind of fleshes out. When there's always some random touring opportunity that kind of pops up out of nowhere that kind of throws everything out of whack, and you got to rethink things. But we're just kind of playing it by ear right now, and then just letting the record just kind of fall upon as many ears as possible right now.
Just a couple of more questions, Corey, before I let you go, man. First of all, I also read that and I didn't say this earlier, but God, your playing on this record is just phenomenal. It seems like you're getting just better and better, and you were great many years ago. I read that on this record you went back to using 7-string guitars. Is that true?
Yeah, we used 7 strings on the last record as well.
Okay.
So it's just like a good match. It's a lot of. I'm trying to picture how many. It's a pretty good balance. There's like starting on Silence in the Snow, we used 3 different tunings, which normally was like our 7-string and drop 6 tunings. And then on the last record, we introduced like 2 songs that had like a drop 7 tuning, which we used on 2 songs in this record as well, like The Wretchedness Inside and Other Worlds are in like another tuning. So there are 3 different tunings, but it's like 6 and 7 with 3 different tunings. So it's a good little, mix up. You kind of get some different sounding stuff when you.
Do you have to change guitars on stage in order to play all these different songs?
Yeah, we have guitar changes, So. And plus, a lot of the old stuff, you just kind of put the set list together a certain way where you don't have to change guitars every song. So, we just we like using both. I think there's get different styles of Trivium songs when you write on different, like when you have different sonics. Because you'd have something like Thrown Into the Fire, but then when you write on a 6-string, you get something that's like Sever the Hand, which is got a different kind of more old school Trivium, kind of hardcore infused thrash kind of vibe. So it's like you kind of just like the different types of tunings and guitars. You kind of can pull some different kind of creativity out of them.
Corey, you and Heafy and Paulo have had such a long career already. You started the band in 1999, sold over 1 million records around the globe. You're long into your career now. Did you, when you started out in this band, did you anticipate that the band would have such a long and successful career as it has?
We always hope for that. But we just, we've always just been, have a drive, and for, our own personal reasons, we've talked about it. There's a reason we put a lot of time and effort into the band. It's definitely super important to us, and we know how hard how much of work it takes to even just stay at a certain level, but also the amount of work it does if you have goals and desires to be bigger and reach more people. So it's definitely a lot of work, but we love it. And we've definitely, over the years, there's been a lot of bands that have come and gone, that even we started off touring with,
opening for,
and they're gone, and all the hype bands that have come along the way and gone. So we've just we're like the turtle that just kind of slow and steady wins the race.
I think that is a great career path for heavy metal musicians and bands. Corey, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know we're running out of time. I wish you much success on this release and in touring in 2018. Hopefully we can catch up with you again. Remember, everyone out there, the brand new one from the band is called The Sin and the Sentence. It's out on Roadrunner Records. Be sure to get it right now after you watch this interview on iTunes. You saw the man right here on Rob's MetalWorks.